Yo, what's up YouTube? Lightsaber Samurai here, and we're back again for another video. Now, actually, this is going to be a bit of a quickie because I was in the middle of working on another video until I got a shout out from another member of the Lightsaber Legion on YouTube, and it reads as follows. Hey, I'm starting to fill out my original Xbox library and was wondering if you had any must-play games, hidden gems, or personal favorites that you would recommend picking up. Cheers. Well, don't worry, my buddy, because I got my original Xbox collection right behind me. So, original Xbox, let's talk it. Okay, so let's start with the first question in the video. You were asking for must-play titles. So, of course, if you have the original Xbox, you want to talk about must-play titles, you can't talk about the original Xbox without talking about Halo 1 and Halo 2. And like I said, you know, what else needs to be said about these? These are two of the greatest first-person shooters of that generation, if not all time. And if you're collecting for the original Xbox, you may as well pick them up because both these games have been remastered 2 or 3 times, and so the Xbox versions are dirt cheap right now. I mean, like, even I got this cool, like, holographic cover and all that, and like I said, the games, they still hold up. Even playing the original games on the original hardware, they still hold up, they still look great and sound pretty good. So, and continuing on with must-play titles, you gotta talk about Crimson Skies. It was one of the first games that was remastered when it was backwards, well, not remastered, but put on the BC list for the Xbox One. And Crimson Skies was a dope Xbox exclusive. It's a arcade flight simulator. Can you say arcade and simulator? I don't know, but it takes place in an alternate 1930s, and it's kind of a cool like Firefly meets Disney's Tailspin type of theme on it. The multiplayer was dope, which the multiplayer I don't believe is around anymore, but if you know how to work that LAN action, this will make a great addition to a cool LAN party. So again, this one was packed with the original Xbox for a while, so copies of this go for less than $5 easy. So if you see Crimson Skies, that's definitely on the list. And finally, 2 more games that I got to talk about. You want to talk about must-plays. Let's go with some RPGs, and that is Star Wars, The Knights of the Old Republic, and The Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords. Both of these games are excellent. Most people think the first one is slightly better. I thought the second one was just as good. It added a bunch of new additions that this one didn't have. It added the lightsaber styles, and I mean, it had a great cast of characters in its own right. I mean, between Kreia and, you know, the whole cast. And so both of these take place, of course, in the Old Republic era, and so they're technically Legends canon as far as Star Wars goes. But, you know, if you really about Star Wars, you don't give a damn about what's canon and what's not. The Old Republic era is one of the coolest in the entire mythos of Star Wars, and these games bring that to light in great effect. So these are kind of a little pricey, but they're not crazy. You can probably still find them both for less than $20 a piece. So if you like RPGs, if you even like Star Wars, both of these are must plays. Okay, and so now we're going to talk about hidden gems a little bit, and so I don't want to go too deep into this because eventually I do want to do a video series on hidden gems for the original Xbox, but I got a couple. First, I want to talk about Sudeki on the original Xbox. Now, Sudeki came out about the same time as Fable did, so nobody ever really paid attention to this game, but this is a cool little action RPG by Microsoft Studios and Climax, and in it you band together a group of 4 heroes to take down this ancient evil. But the cool thing about it, like I said, it's an action RPG, but you play as the Actually, I think it's 3. Yes, it's 4 characters. 2 of them, when you take control of them, you play in it's a third-person melee, and then you play the 2 ranged characters in first-person view during battle. So I think it was cool. It was bloody. It had decent graphics, and like I said, the story is something we'd heard before. But I mean, it was fun going through this story and exploring the semi-open world in it. So Sudeki definitely got overlooked, but we will take a closer look at this when I get to the hidden gems for that. Coming up next, and I had talked about this game before, but man, Darkwatch, like, this is one of the coolest first-person shooters of this 6th generation that I never played. I just played this about a year ago when I was going over games that I wanted to see put on BC for the Xbox One, and as a matter of fact, I think I do need to revisit that. Anyway, looking at this, I mean, it's a gothic story. You play as Jacob Cross, a guy who's bitten by a vampire. He becomes half dead and joins the Dark Watch, this legion of bounty hunters and mercenaries who fight the creatures of the night. It kind of takes place toward the end of the 19th century, and so like I said, it's a really cool game with some really cool graphics, great mechanics. The gunplay is awesome. You get super vampiric powers. Those are awesome. The game is also bloody and gory, and like I said, no one played it, so that's definitely a hidden gem. And finally, as far as the hidden gems, I want to talk about Gun Valkyrie. Now, people are starting to come around this, but this is a Sega title, and I mean, just about every effort from Sega on this system was dope. I mean, the Xbox One, in my eyes, is basically the Dreamcast 2 anyway. So, and this takes place again in some kind of an alternate 19th century storyline, but it's kind of Victorian meets Steam and Cyberpunk, and the controls on it are a little bit wonky. They take a little bit getting used to, but man, the graphics on this game are some of the best you'll find in the system. Just being able to fly around and blast all kind of bugs with all these different weapons you got. I mean, with the jetpacks, this was a fun time, and unfortunately nobody played it. I need to stream this or something soon. I need to let people know about Gun Valkyrie, but if you see it, this one's starting to go up in prices. You may or may not be able to see it. I got it for about $8 a few years back, but this one, like I said, people are starting to come around to this, but I think you can still snag it for under 20 if you're quick. So, okay, so that's it for the hidden gems. And so lastly, I want to talk about a couple of my personal favorites. Now, first up, as far as my personal favorites go, is you got to go with Jet Set Radio Future. And of course, this isn't the actual, this is that double pack that came with that weird racing game. The Sega GT 2002 is whatever, but like I said, if you find this double pack is pretty cheap to get with the disc, or you can get the standalone disc. It's actually a little bit more pricier, but you can still find it for under 30, I believe. But I mean, this again, another arcade classic by Sega, and this originally came out on the Dreamcast. It was slightly retooled and modified for the original Xbox, and this is a great game here. It's been remastered on the Vita and the PS3 and the Xbox 360, I think. But if you want a physical copy and you can't find the Dreamcast version, gotta get it on the Xbox. Like I said, this is one of the best soundtracks in video game history, and it's fun to just cruise around the city of Tokyo-to and spray paint with the gang. I mean, excellent cel-shaded graphics round out this package. So if you see Jet Set Radio, that should be one you're definitely looking for. Next up, another one that I talked about in the past, and of course that is Def Jam Fight for New York. The Def Jam games, I mean, Vendetta and Fight for New York, in my opinion, being the best of the series. This was followed by Icon, but I don't think it was quite as good, mainly because they took out the blaze attacks and the aesthetic. They tried to make it ultra real. I kind of like the cartoony aesthetic of the characters in this, and I mean, it's got a cool storyline. You play as some of your favorite rappers and just hip-hop personalities that were popular during that time, the golden age of hip-hop. So a lot of my favorites are in this. So you won't see any mumble rappers here, okay? You won't. You know what? They need to do that. Def Jam cast of New York versus mumble rap. And so I can see Method Man just put his hand up Lil Yachty's ass and just pull it out Mortal Kombat style. This also came out on the PS2, but unfortunately the PS2 version, that's creeping up to around $60, and it's still climbing. This one you can still find for about $25, so this is the cheaper version. And like I said, they both look about the same. The Xbox version may be slightly sharper as far as the detail and the graphics goes, but like I said, you can't lose with this. And going in with a couple more of my personal favorites. Like I said, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and like I said, I'm still going to do that video someday about my favorite Star Wars games, but let's talk about two of them here. First up is Star Wars Republic Commando. This is a squad-based first-person shooter set in the final days of the Old Republic, just before and during the events of Episode 3, and you play as the squad of bounty hunters. Like I said, it's an excellent game, fantastic graphics, and like I said, you just got to see it to believe it. I mean, it plays well, and this one is I'm not sure how this one's doing price-wise, but I don't think this is too expensive, but I do feel like once people really start collecting for the original Xbox, this is one that'll shoot up because it never got a sequel. It was never remastered, although it should have been. It should have got a sequel and been remastered, but what do I know? And so, the very last game that I'm going to talk about, again, one of my personal favorites, if not my favorite game on the original Xbox, is one that I actually tried to do a Let's Play of earlier in my career, on YouTube, so you can go back and look at those, although I've been thinking about deleting those lately. But that is Star Wars Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy, and the entire Jedi Knight series is dope, starting with the first one on PC. There's actually a prequel on the Xbox, I got it back there, called Jedi Outcast, and that one is also very good, but this one is just a little bit more accessible. They took out some of the puzzles, so it made it a little easier. Of course, they actually added a lot to the combat too, adding a bunch of combat styles, so if you see this one, definitely pick this up. Alright gang, that's going to do it for me. I hope that helped you get started on your journey with the Xbox. But everybody else in the Lightsaber Legion and everybody else watching this video, post it down in the comments below. We're looking for personal favorites, must-plays, and hidden gems on the original Xbox. Please give your suggestions. We can talk about it some more in the comments below. Please give this video a like, a share, and a subscribe if you're feeling sexy. I do believe that's all I got for you. Lightsaber Samurai out. Peace.